The newest El Niño model runs just dropped, and meteorologists are stunned by how aggressive they've become. Some of the latest projections are now pushing into territory rarely, if ever, seen in the modern climate record. If these forecasts are even partially correct, the world could be heading toward one of the strongest El Niño events ever observed, and the consequences could be enormous. This isn't just about warmer ocean water in the Pacific anymore. This could dramatically reshape the entire global weather pattern heading into late 2026 and 2027, from hurricane season in the Atlantic to flooding in California, to drought and wildfire disasters in Australia, to severe weather outbreaks across the southern United States next winter. The atmosphere is starting to send a very loud signal. Sea surface temperatures across the equatorial Pacific are exploding warmer. The cold blue anomalies are disappearing rapidly, replaced by massive zones of orange and deep red stretching across the tropical Pacific Ocean. That warm water surge is the fingerprint of El Niño taking control. But what is really alarming scientists right now is not just the warmth at the surface, it is what is happening underneath the ocean. Roughly 100 meters below the surface, a gigantic reservoir of extremely warm water has developed and is now racing eastward toward South America. Some of these subsurface temperatures are running 5 to 6 degrees Celsius above normal. That is extraordinary. That kind of deep ocean heat acts like fuel waiting to erupt upward into the atmosphere. And once that heat fully surfaces, El Niño could intensify violently and very quickly. This is why forecasters are becoming increasingly concerned. The latest European ensemble projections are showing many scenarios climbing above 3 degrees Celsius above normal in the Niño regions of the Pacific. For perspective, the legendary 1997 to 1998 Super El Niño peaked around 2.4 degrees Celsius above normal. The historic 2015 to 2016 event reached roughly 2.75 degrees Celsius. Some of these new model members are projecting numbers even higher than that. If those forecasts verify, this could rival or potentially exceed the strongest El Niño event observed since modern records began in the 1800s. Now, yes, there is always uncertainty this far out. Meteorologists know about the spring predictability barrier, where models sometimes overestimate developing El Niño events. But what makes this situation different is that the ground truth inside the ocean is already matching the aggressive forecasts. For months, forecasters have been tracking a massive warm water bubble building across the western Pacific. Instead of weakening, it has continued intensifying and expanding eastward. Trade winds are collapsing. Warm water is sloshing toward South America. The thermocline is deepening dramatically. Every major atmospheric and oceanic signal is now aligning toward rapid El Niño development, and the ripple effects could become global. For the Atlantic hurricane season, El Niño usually increases upper-level wind shear across the tropical Atlantic. That tends to suppress the total number of hurricanes forming. So, on paper, the Atlantic may end up with fewer named storms than average. But that does not mean safe. History has shown repeatedly that even quieter El Niño hurricane seasons can still produce catastrophic landfalling storms. Hurricane Andrew formed during an El Niño year. Hurricane Michael exploded during an El Niño year. It only takes one storm hitting the wrong location to define an entire season. Meanwhile, the Pacific hurricane basins may absolutely explode with activity. The latest European forecasts are showing dramatically above normal tropical cyclone development across both the eastern Pacific and western Pacific. Massive areas of red dominate those outlook maps, signaling an environment highly favorable for tropical development. In simple terms, the Pacific may become supercharged, while the Atlantic becomes more hostile overall. And then comes winter. This is where the forecast becomes truly jaw-dropping. Strong El Niño winters are notorious for unleashing powerful subtropical jet streams across the southern United States. That jet stream acts like an atmospheric fire hose, dragging Pacific moisture straight into California, the desert Southwest, Texas, the Gulf Coast, and Florida. And the newest long-range climate guidance is showing an absolutely massive moisture signal developing for winter 2026 into 2027. Some of these precipitation anomaly maps are almost unbelievable this far out. Florida, the Gulf Coast, California, and much of the southern tier of the United States are showing widespread above-normal rainfall signals months in advance. If this verifies, parts of the southern U.S. could face a stormy, flood-prone, and potentially dangerous winter pattern. And there's another side effect people often forget about with strong El Niño winters: severe weather. Historically, powerful El Niño years tend to increase the risk of winter and early spring severe weather outbreaks across portions of the Southeast, especially Florida and the Gulf Coast states. A hyperactive subtropical jet can create repeated setups for tornadoes, damaging winds, and flooding events from November through March. So, while people often associate El Niño with rain and cooler temperatures, it can also create an extremely volatile, severe weather pattern across parts of the United States. Globally, the impacts could become even more extreme. South America may face devastating flooding across Peru, Ecuador, and northern Chile as warm Pacific waters slam directly into the coastline. Meanwhile, the Amazon region could plunge deeper into severe drought conditions. Fisheries along the South American coast may suffer massive ecological collapse as warm water kills nutrient-rich upwelling currents that marine ecosystems depend on. Australia faces the opposite problem. As the warm Pacific water shifts eastward toward South America, rainfall patterns near Australia often collapse. That raises the risk for widespread drought, dangerous heat waves, crop failures, and explosive wildfire seasons. During major El Niño events, Australia can experience some of its hottest and driest conditions on record. And with global ocean temperatures already running historically warm, scientists are increasingly worried that this El Niño could inject enormous additional heat into Earth's atmosphere over the next year. In fact, if this event reaches the upper-end projections currently being modeled, 2027 could potentially challenge for the hottest year ever recorded globally. The atmosphere may be on the verge of a major shift.
The Pacific Ocean is waking up in a very dangerous way right now, and the latest model guidance suggests this may not be an ordinary El Niño cycle. This has the potential to become a historic climate event with worldwide consequences stretching far beyond just hurricane season. The next few months are going to be critical, because if the ocean continues evolving the way it is right now, weather patterns around the entire planet could begin changing dramatically by the end of this year.